into nearby creeks. That bourbon coming from a fire at the Jim Beam warehouse facility in Woodford County, which broke out on Tuesday night. Heather Fontaine spoke to some campers about the unbelievable sight that they woke up to this morning.
Certainly wouldn't get in and swim today.
An unsettling sight as dead fish settled atop the Kentucky River.
The boat traffic has kind of pushed a lot of them off to the side.
Camper John Cox
That is a huge catfish.
and his buddy David Whitaker
Not pleasant at all.
drive slowly through the thick of it.
It's really kind of heartbreaking to see all this.
The unfortunate result of a bourbon spill after a Jim Beam warehouse burned to the ground.
We had suspicion when I heard about the fire. Had no idea the amount that would be coming down.
And you really don't have to go very far upstream at all to smell the odor from thousands and thousands of fish floating on top of the Kentucky River.
If you open a can of tuna fish and leave it open in your car when it's shut up in the hot sun for 2 or 3 hours when it's a 100-degree day, that's kind of how I woke up smelling this morning.
The Department of Fish and Wildlife cruising the river to sample water oxygen levels and get a count on fish killed.
We're getting more is what it looks like. Just from, 45 minutes ago or an hour ago.
And what's left of the bourbon lost in the fire seeming to end up here too.
You'll see just brown mounds of foam.
It's supposed to be their paradise.
It's just a very serene place to be.
But the fish just keep coming.
It's getting worse and worse.
Heather Fontaine, WHAS 11 News.
Well, officials urge caution to anyone who comes across the fish. Do not try to capture them and definitely don't try to eat them. Boats are still allowed on the river, but officials suggest boaters to also be very careful.
This towering fire tornado, or fire-nado, was created when lightning struck a Jim Beam warehouse in Kentucky, and 800,000 gallons of bourbon spilled into a retention pond and went up in flames. You have to have exactly the right conditions for something like this to happen: a body of water with a flammable substance on top, and weather conditions that whip the fire into a funnel. Fortunately, the pond kept the fire from spreading. It took quite an effort, but eventually the fire was put out. However, a nearby creek was contaminated, killing many fish. The company paid state authorities nearly $27,000 in cleanup costs for this booze-fueled spectacle. I'm Matt Sampson, the Weather Channel.